Welcome to Tech Friday, the podcast about this week's hottest tech insights, hosted by a team of technology experts from Zfort Group. We share exclusive content on artificial intelligence, big data, AR, VR, and blockchain, and watch how these emerging technologies transform businesses and lives. We'll be sharing exclusive content received from closed tech communities, paid mail shots, other exclusive podcasts, and mass media.
A true friend who betrays all your secrets. Korean AI chatbot turned a data protection failure. Most Americans are unsure of how consciously companies behave while using and protecting personal info. Nearly 81% of them report being insecure about potential risks of data collection, and 66% claim to feel the same about government data collection. It's really difficult to weigh the level of potential risks and understand the anticipated harm that irresponsible behavior with personal data can cause. How can this affect our further actions? What restrictions and changes will it bring? Let's analyze the main points of what happens when disclosing personal data and how to properly protect yourself using the example of the recent situation in South Korea. Korean company ScatterLab launched a scientific and data-driven app, which was supposed to predict the degree of attachment in relationships. It relies on KakaoTalk, the most popular messenger app in South Korea that is used by about 90% of the population. So, the analysis of your romantic feelings, or their absence, costs just around $4.50 per conversation processing. Science of Love worked like this. It studied the conversation and based on certain factors, such as average response time, how often the companion writes to you first, the fact of some trigger phrases and emotions usage, gave a conclusion on whether there is a romantic connection between the interlocutors of the dialogue. You can say, "Come on, does anyone know that better than your inner sensation?" How an app can be aware of what is going on in a person's head or heart while they are texting you? Well, there is some common sense here. But the fact is that by June 2020, Science of Love had received about 2.5 million downloads in South Korea and 5 million in Japan, and was preparing to expand its business to the United States. So let's reveal, why does it become so popular among the Korean guys and girls? Because I felt like the app understood me. I felt safe and sympathized. It felt good because it felt like having a love doctor by my side, one of the users tells in the review. In December 2020, the company introduced an AI chatbot, Liluda. The bot was positioned as a well-trained AI consultant, taught on more than 10 billion conversation logs from the app. 20-year-old female Liluda is ready to set a true friendship with everybody. As the company's CEO mentioned, the purpose of Liluda was to become an AI chatbot that people prefer as a conversation partner over a person. Just after a couple of weeks, the bot launch users could not help but pay attention to the harsh treatment and statements from the bot towards certain social groups and minorities, such as LGBTQ+, people with disabilities, feminists, etc. The developer company ScatterLab explained this phenomenon by the fact that the bot took information from the basic dataset for training, not from personal user discussions. Thus, it is clear that the company did not properly filter out the set of phrases and profanity before starting the bot training. The developers just failed to remove some personal information depending on the context. Well, it is what it is. Liluda could not have learned how to include such personal information in its responses unless they existed in the training dataset. But there's some good news as well. It is possible to recover the training dataset from the AI chatbot. So if personal information existed in the training dataset, it can be extracted by querying the chatbot. Still going not so bad, huh? To make things worse, ScatterLab had uploaded a training set of 1,700 sentences, which was a part of the larger dataset is collected on GitHub. It exposed names of more than 20 people along with the locations they have been to, their relationship status, and some of their medical information. ScatterLab issued statements of clarification of the incident intended to soothe the public's concerns, but they ended up infuriating people even more. The company's statements indicated that Liluda is a childlike AI that just started conversing with people, that it has a lot to learn, and we'll learn what is a better answer and a more appropriate answer through trial and error. However, is it ethical to violate individuals' privacy and safety for a chatbot's trial and error learning process? No. Despite the fact that this situation has become a high-profile event in Korea, it has not received attention on a global scale, and we think quite unfairly. It's not about the negligence and dishonesty of the creators. This incident reflects the general trend in the development of the AI industry. Users of software based on technology have little control over the collection and use of personal data. Situations like this should make you think about more careful and conscientious data management. The pace of technology development is significantly ahead of the adoption of regulatory standards for their use. It is hard to foresee where the technology will lead us in a couple of years. So the logical question is, are AI and tech companies able to independently control the ethical components of the used and developed innovations? Is it worth going back to the concept of corporate social responsibility? And where is the golden mean? Innovation versus humanity.
Thanks for listening. Join us next week to discuss the latest tech stories, trends, and insights. Be sure to subscribe now to stay on top of the world's tech community news with Zfort Group.